Hi, everyone. This is Neil, and we have Nick with us today. I'm really excited to start this school project where we're going to tell stories about all the amazing people at Get Set Up who are enabling all our learners to do wonderful things in their lives. And so, like we get inspired with them, I think without every one of us here, including Nick today, this was not possible and wouldn't be possible. So, I'm excited to do the first one with Nick, who has volunteered to be the scapegoat here, but we learn a lot from him, and hopefully this turns into something really unique for us as a company, and helps others know about each other and get closer together with our core values. So, all right, Nick, good evening, good morning from Australia. All right, I'm going to start with the very basic thing. So Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Well, if here is physical, then I'm currently in Australia, and I got here traveling through the world. I'm Dutch by origin. I've lived in England, I've lived in Melbourne, I lived in Malaysia, now I live in Canberra, Australia. So physically, I've been around quite a bit. How I get set up is more around what I like to do in life, in a living. I've been in tech, mostly startups and scale-ups, for 15 to 20 years of my professional life, and the story of Get Set Up drew me, and I got lucky. I think Mel from Sweat Equity called a friend of mine and said, "Hey, are you looking for a job?" And he said, "No, I'm not, but Niek is." And I got in touch, and now I'm here. So
nice. So Nick, I mean, why did you become an engineer, of all things?
I at 15 or 16 years old, which is when there was not many computers in the world, because I am actually quite ancient, to be honest. I had a computer, my parents had a computer, and I just found it absolutely fascinating that if you press a button on a keyboard, something happens on a screen. And that started my journey. I was like, this is magic, this is crazy, I want to know exactly how this works. So I started to work out what happened between the button and the screen, and it took off from there. I started writing my own demos, my 3D galaxies, etc. back in the day, just after Star Wars. It was really cool to create your own galaxy on a computer screen, and I did that. I wrote that in assembly, and one thing came the other, and I started to I went to uni at some point, and I thought I wanted to do architecture, so I studied architecture, and I was hopeless. And at the end of the year, I had a chat with the person that ran the architecture course at uni, and he looked at my grades, and they said, "Well, I think it's better if you go to computer things," because I had 3 10s out of 10s, which is straight A basically, and the rest was really low because I just couldn't be bothered doing it. So I moved over to computer science, and that was it. Made a career out of it.
Nice. So are you saying you're bad at drawing? Is that why you got into architecture?
I'm good at imagining things. I'm not that good at portraying them in the real world at some point.
All right, that's fair. I bet there are better tools now to do that.
Yeah, well, you just talk to a computer and they do the work for you, right? That's awesome. That's where we are.
Nice. Awesome. So Nick, what do you do at Get Set Up? I know you're the VP of engineering, but for a lot of people, they wouldn't know what that means. So what do you exactly do at Get Set Up?
I guess it's the majority of time really has been in building a team to build all the new things that we deliver for Get Set Up. So when I joined, there were Pritesh and Deepak, and now we have a team of 25, closing into 30 soon. So I think the major role I've played in that is hire good people, really good people, to build all the things that are necessary for Get Set Up. And the things that are necessary is the things that our end users use: the website, the Android app, soon to be iOS app, and everything that goes around it, like the admin tools, the creator tools that support us running a product as we are. So I guess that's a short version of my all-round job.
So Nick, I think there's generally misconceptions that everybody in engineering actually writes code. I know that that's not true. And do you still write any code as a VP of engineering, or do you just mostly manage people who do that?
I mostly manage people. I read code. I read a lot. I like to stay up to date with all the technologies. I think you have to find a good balance between managing and understanding what happens in the world. It's mostly reading. I think if I would write code, I would make a lot of engineers angry because I really think that the balance has to be towards the more senior you are in an organization, the better you have to be at people, and the further away you are from writing code, especially in an engineering organization, of course. I always just say I would like to be the worst engineer in the whole team, because then I'm probably doing a good job.
Well, in a way, I guess you are an architect now, right? You get to decide how to build it, and then you have a team of amazing engineers who go and build the product for you.
Yeah, it's definitely more on that side of things, like brainstorming how things should hang together, and even more than that, just trying to get the most out of the smart people that we have, to give them an environment to work in that they want to work in, so that they get the freedom and space to make choices and decisions and build awesome things. I'm just there to, if anything, just to create that space for everybody, and at times give feedback and responses and ideas. But generally speaking, if I can just walk away and people do awesome things, then I'm doing all right.
Yeah, no, that's so true, because I think I remember in my career early on, my manager said the role of somebody, especially in managers, should be to hire people better than them who can do the job. And if you're not doing that, then you're failing as a leader. So always hire people who can do the job better than you. So
yeah, exactly. There's you can do all the jobs yourself, but you past a team of 4 or 5 people, that doesn't work anymore. And then that's when people get really stressed out and people get angry, and it just becomes a place people don't want to work. It's so just create a space, walk away.
nice.
Let it happen.
Cool. So Niek, what are the most exciting things that you're working on right now at Get Set Up?
Right now, we just launched the new site today, so that is very exciting. It's been a decent journey to get to this point. We started talking about this 4 or 5 months ago, I think. Started building 3-ish months ago, and now we just launched it today. Like literally, I was going through the bug list before this chat, and it's looking good. Of course, there are little bugs. There are some bugs. There's some probably misunderstandings, etc. But we'll iron them out over the next few days. But that's it's a big thing. The new mobile website and desktop site. So that's if you hear this and you haven't seen it yet, go have a look and give us some feedback, because we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, no, I think for those who don't know, the new website, because a lot of our learners come from mobile via Facebook, our old site was just not built for that, or for tablets. And I think what Niek and the team have launched today is something which is very mobile friendly. So I think it's going to make experiences for learners in most parts of the world really easy to access, book, and enter our class. So we're quite looking forward to how that plays out in January. But thanks Niek and the team for actually doing it. Excited to see on Jan 1 how sort of the broader universe adopts that program. So awesome. So Niek, what drew you? I know you mentioned that your journey drew you to Get Set Up, but what particularly about what we are solving? Because there's so many problems to solve for engineers, right? I mean, you can build NFTs, you can build I don't know, like so many things that are not tied in the real world. Like why Get Set Up? Like what drew you personally to it?
So as I said, I've been around for quite a while, and I think we tech people live in a bit of a luxury world. It's a bit of an unfair luxury world. It kind of doesn't make sense about the amount of opportunities there are in our life at the moment, professionally speaking, that is. So I was looking for something new after my previous scale up that I was involved in, and I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do, but I was very sure about the fact that it had to do something good to the world and not just another thing, because I've built lots of things in my life that were like, you could take it or leave it. And often it's been a case of like, we earn well. I work for someone who earns more, so that their boss can earn even more, and someone sells the thing at the end, and we're all happy because money just came in. I think it's really kind of unsatisfying at a life scale. So, and that's what drew me to Get Set Up. As I said, I was a friend of a friend. That's how we got talking in the beginning. So it wasn't directly looking for, hey, let's do something for all the adults. But as soon as I heard the story, I was like, yeah, this is this makes sense. This is a thing that needs to be done, and that's why I started talking and initially, and then we ended up here because we're trying to do something good to the world, which is very fulfilling.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. I think for a lot of people that probably is, I mean, having been an engineer, like you said, you can work on so many things and, you get paid for it. And they're all good problems to solve because it's mentally stimulating. But I think there are a lot of things out there that don't make the world a better place. And we only have sort of one planet, and it let's fix this before we fix something else in the virtual world, right? So I think it's a big reason why I think a lot of people have come together here at Get Set Up, and glad to hear that was part of one of your reasons too. So the next question is a little bit it's maybe a fun one, or because I know for me, when I ask this question to my parents, it's really hard. Like, what do you think your parents would have described what you do for a living?
I think it's different now than 5 years ago, because I think that generation has more understanding of the internets and apps and things like that. So and like we play a role in that as well, right? At Get Set Up, we try to explain in how that works in certain of our classes. So, but it's still so both my parents passed away last year, and which is unfortunate. So, but my mother-in-law, she is very close, and she lives very close by. So she I think she gets it quite well. She can explain it quite well, what I do, not what I do on a daily basis, but what we try to do as an organization. She couldn't explain what I do on a daily basis, like, Niek, just computer things. I work in the IT department or whatever. Like, I have no idea what that have, like code and deployments and Amazon and services and stuff like that. Like, nah, absolutely not. But as a product, she could explain it quite well, what we try to do. She's used it a few times, and she's given it to a bunch of friends of her as well. So yeah, so that's at a product level, yes. At a technical level, not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing with my parents. I think they only know what I do because of things they read in the papers. Otherwise, they had no idea what I did as an engineer. So, no, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that. So what does Niek do when he's not working? Like what do you end up doing? Yeah.
Well, I spent a lot of time with my kids. 10 years ago would have been a very different answer, but now I spend a lot of my time with my kids. We spent 2 years in lockdown basically, so I spent a lot of time around the house. But riding, I spend a lot of time on my bike. I like to ride. I'm getting a bit older, so now I have an electric bike as well as a normal bike as well as a mountain bike, and I use all three of them proudly. And music, I spend way too much money on my vinyl collection. That started about, I guess it's my midlife crisis. I didn't buy a Porsche or a Ferrari. I bought a record player and some vinyl. And my wife, she's kindly happy with that. I think it's a much more affordable hobby than driving fast cars. So yeah, that's thanks to lockdown, it's wine and vinyl.
Nice.
And hopefully bikes again soon.
What kind of riding do you end up doing? Or do you have good roads in Canberra to ride outdoors?
The best thing of Canberra is the nature that it is surrounded with. It's awesome. Like, there is some high quality mountain bike tracks. There's some really cool downhills, and there's lots of road tracks around as well. It's a very cycling friendly city. It's very good. It's the #1 outdoor sport here.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, we need to do a Get Set Up cycling retreat soon. I know Lawrence.
Exactly.
We've quite a few cyclists in our group, like including Stanley, which I'm excited to interview him, who used to race for the Scott national team in India.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just going to slowly back away now.
We have a good cyclist there. Lawrence and I are kind of wannabe cyclists. So that's cool. Awesome. What was the latest vinyl you bought? Like, what are you collecting?
Well, it was my birthday yesterday, so thank you all for the congratulations. My daughter bought me one, which is the Blue Beatles collection, the second one. So yeah. Before that, what did I buy before that myself? I think it was a Pink Floyd one. I think it was
nice.
Animals by Pink Floyd. Yes.
I love that album. I love that album.
Yeah, that's a really cool one.
I actually, I don't know if you know this, but like it's my favorite band, Pink Floyd. And so
There we
actually
go.
traveled all over I used to play in a band which only covered Pink Floyd growing up in college. So I once came to Pompeii in Italy just to like sit in the Colosseum because they performed
Yeah.
there, listen to Animals
Nice.
and live at Pompeii. So big fan.
Nice. There you go. I didn't know that. That's good.
Yeah, a big Pink Floyd fan. It kind of changed my life when I was 13. So I'm on this direction of where I am now only because of music and Pink Floyd, actually. So
Super interesting. I'm waiting for the podcast about you.
Awesome. And so we have two more questions, right? So one is, what do you think people misunderstand about you the most?
I'm not rude. I am direct. So that's a Dutch thing. I'm Dutch, and you know it because you live there, and a lot of people know Dutch people. We come across as very rude, but we're actually just direct and don't mean anything bad by it. We're just rather objective in our observation and very loud in voicing it. So I have learned to minimize that because I came to Australia and everybody's angry me all the time. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I got some feedback that you should probably not like do that all the time. So now I'm a lot less rude and direct, but it's still in there when I come to my natural self.
Nice. So what advice would you give someone who's interacting with you who might potentially misunderstand you? Like what is the workaround? Like if they hear Niek being direct, how do they come back and approach you without misunderstanding you?
Just imagine, no, don't imagine me naked. That's wrong. Imagine like I'm crying or like, I don't mean it bad. It's okay. Just, it's just meant well. The real reason behind it is just I'm trying to mean well because I'm trying to make something clear or try to get it better. If there's a really negative conversation with people that potentially work for me or whatever, like it's like I'm just trying to be clear. I'm not trying to be mean or nasty or anything. I'm just trying to be clear in my words.
Yeah. No, that's quite helpful. I mean, I can tell you because I've lived in Amsterdam now for some time that Dutch people are very direct, and it's I've had Dutch friends since I was early 20s, so I kind of knew about that. But someone else moving there, I can see the sort of the shock right into the system where everything is just said as it is, and you can very easily misunderstand. And I have found it quite useful to basically treat it like a bug. Like say if a Dutch person is telling you something, it's just a fact, it's a bug, like don't read too much into it. Because when it's a bug, it's not personal. It's just like, hey, something's broken, like fix it. It's a direct thing. So I use my engineering analogy and think of it as like, it's just a fact, nothing personal. Just go back and talk about it's basically not very personal. Nobody's trying to be mean, right? So
no, it's just like the curtain is green. No, it's not green, it's red. Like, can't you see it's red? And I'm not angry about it. It's just you have it wrong. It's okay. And then you go, oh, it's red. Okay, good. Fine.
Nice.
People hard.
Yeah. No, I think glad you shared that. And so the last one, which I think I'm going to ask everyone as we do this, is if you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self or 15-year-old self. I know we have some 20-year-olds in our company, so this might not be a relevant question. But if you could talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell them or him or her, like as an advice?
I'll be hard. Like I'm very happy where I ended up in life. I mean, it's been a rough journey at times, but the journey is what matters, I guess. Someone famous said that. I think probably the only thing I would try to make clear to myself is just try a bit harder at the things that matter rather than just walk away from them because you think it will solve itself. Because that I think would have gotten me onto a clearer path in life a bit faster. Then it took me a long time to work a whole bunch of things out about, what should I really care about. So try a bit harder about the things you actually care about, or you're not sure that you care about them yet. I think it has to do with Dutch people as well, because in Holland you have this saying which is like, be normal, that's good enough, which is a very Dutch way of thinking. Like if you step above the masses, people go, "Oh, no, you shouldn't be doing that." And they also have the other saying, which is like, high trees catch a lot of wind, which is like, if you do that, you will get a lot of negativity over you. So therefore, all Dutch people just try to be normal, and I don't think that is necessary. And I only really found it out after leaving Holland after a while, that people don't try to push you down or push you over. It's all right to stand out. They go, cool. So that took me a while to work out. So that's for life. Like, don't listen to them.
That is so. I mean, no, thanks for sharing that. And actually, that is very true again about my time in Holland. Is I think anyone who stands out kind of is looked at differently and not really appreciated. And I think I don't know why is that a function of. And we're seeing this now become global, not just a Dutch phenomenon, I think. But, I think that's a good takeaway, just to be yourself and be what makes you happy, right? I think if it pisses others off, that's their problem. But, I think conforming to the norm, I think the norm is just so relative for each group of people and where you're based. I think that's a good lesson, because I think all of us experience that at some point, even growing up in India, like, just be normal, like go get a good job, don't stand out, don't do anything. And then you realize why, like, who cares? Like nobody cares, right? Except for your family and friends, nobody else.
The people that try to push you down, because, if you're going up, then I must be losing, and that's not good. And it's not right.
Awesome. Yeah. No, Nick, cool. Thanks for sharing all of that. This was really good to get to know you, and hope others also learned a little bit about you. I learned about your music collection and stuff through this, and that you're still very Dutch, even though you haven't lived there for 20 years. But no, thanks for sharing it, and thanks for doing all the amazing work you do and have built the team out in 6 months. So looking forward to all the cool stuff coming out next year. So thanks once again, and really happy holidays. And I hope everybody else that gets set up loves this conversation too.
I hope so too. Thank